We have Cody here, and he is on one side. So let's look at the problems that we have with this video. First, the main problem is the video camera was set to auto exposure. So as he is moving around in the scene, the colors are shifting. Okay, so one reason you would want to get a video camera that doesn't do auto, it does manual settings, is so that you don't have color shifting. Okay, the white balance was set to auto white balance, and so it's very subtle, but you can see it as you scrub through. You can see sometimes the sofa looks a little blue, sometimes it looks a little purple. There, it's even more blue right there than it is here. See the sofa is a little purplish there, then we go over here, it's a little blue. You can't really notice it too much. Probably on your computer screen you can really see it. And so, if you set and use your camera with manual settings, you would not get that shifting. And it happens to you probably when you shoot outside, right? You're shooting outside and you're shooting something, and then you sort of pan to the sky and the ground starts getting darker, right? And so it's adjusting for the sky. And which is good in some sense, but in a lot of sense it kind of messes up. And so one way to avoid that is to set your exposure before you start shooting. With your cell phone, right, you know how to push the screen. I put some information last week or 2 weeks ago about how to shoot with your mobile phone. Did you see that? There's information on Canvas about how to shoot with your mobile phone so that you get the proper exposure. Okay, let's make Cody talk to himself. Okay, to get Cody talking to himself, he's actually improvising here. Fight Club. Everybody remember Fight Club in the scene where he's on the airplane and he's talking about what they do. You know, what do you do? And so here we're gonna start right here where he kind of sits right there. That's where my end point is, and so you can hear him talk.
So, what do you do? Okay. We have the same backpack. Well, what kind of movie? Man, I don't remember what I
Okay, so that's about, he forgot his line after that, but that's good enough. You just get the idea. He's talking to himself here. And so I'm going to do an in and out point of that, and I'm going to drag it into the timeline. Then there's another part where he's talking over here, where he's on this side, and I'm going to do an in and out point for that.
Why? So you can pretend like you care? You have that sort of sick desperation in your laugh. Movies. I make movies.
That's it. Okay, so he ends it there. So I'm going to go and take this and put it right above. So if you look at my timeline here, I have, of course, the first Cody cut on V1. Then I can take the second one and put it over top. Now, lining it up is going to be a little bit difficult. You got to kind of get it where he's talking kind of to himself a little bit here.
So, what do you do? Why? So you can pretend like you care? Okay.
Okay, it's a little off already, but let's just, we can cut out, in fact, let me move this to the very beginning here. So we can cut out half the screen on the one that's on top so we could see the one underneath. So the one that's on top is he's over here on the right side, right? He's over here on the right side. So what I want to do is I want to remove the left side so that the one underneath comes through. And probably the easiest way to do something like that is called a garbage mat. Okay, a garbage mat is a way of putting little points on the video screen and then just dragging them over. So there's a couple different types of garbage mat. One of them's called a 4-point garbage mat, is all the one we need right here. But you can also do an 8-point, and I believe there's even a 16-point garbage mat. Garbage mat is located underneath the effects option. So if you go underneath where it says effects, if we can find effects, where's my effects? Okay, here's effects. So the effect I'm looking for is, again, it's called garbage mat. You could actually type it in G-A-R, garbage. Garbage. B-A-G, no. Okay, let's not type it in. How about we go under effects and I gotta find out where it's at. Keying. I know it's in here somewhere. Maybe they got rid of it.
So the king?
I don't know what it's under now. I don't think they got rid of garbage mat. Oh, track mat. What happened to the garbage mat? Maybe they just want motion.
Looks like they got rid of it.
They got rid of it.
Capacity with the mask on it.
So they got rid of garbage mat, so don't do that. For 20 years I've been using the damn tool and they get rid of it. They totally got rid of it?
That's what they did before.
Really? Okay. So now how can I do it?
They're saying use the opacity effect of the mask.
An opacity effect with the mask here.
Yeah, that's how you do it, yeah.
Oops. Fabulous. Oh. Can I delete this now? I don't want to use that. Okay, what if I don't want this point? Really? This is they replaced it with this?
Or try a 4-point mask.
Where's that?
I have no clue.
No.
That's what the form That's what it is, yeah. Can you get a mask part?
Well, if I got rid of something there. Okay. Let me try this again. This is not a very intuitive tool here. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to use it. Fuck. I got like 3 masks.
You can go to the left.
What is it doing here? Okay. Here I have 1 mask. There we go. I can see the guy come through.
opacity mask.
Yeah, just let me try it once and then I'll see.
You press the play bar, Jeff?
What's that?
You press the play bar and mask path and it should do it. There you go.
Why? So you can pretend like you care? What do you do?
I think my timing's a little off down here. Hold on. I think this one's a little long here. Let's try that.
So, why? So you can pretend like you care?
She's a little off still. Let's try this.
So, what do you do? So you can pretend like you care?
Still off. Jeez.
So, what do you do? Why? So you can pretend like you care? Okay. You have that sort of sick desperation in your laugh. We have the same backpack. Movies. I make movies. Well, what kind of movies?
Okay, so something like that. Let's look at how to get that mask. I don't know. This mask is not as easy as it used to be. Kind of sucks, actually. So let me delete it. Again, I'm clicking on the top one, the top video, which is the top video. And then under the effects control, there is an opacity. Of course, the opacity would be where you could blend. See how you can blend it in, right? The opacity. And so in the opacity, there is looks like a rectangle, 4-point polygon mask. So again, on the top one, the one that's on top, I use the 4-point polygon mask. I click on it. It gives me a box, and then I can move that box. As you can see, it'll bring the other one through. See that? So if I put it, I guess, up here, kind of cut it, split it in the screen here, like that, it comes through. If I could make this a little bigger here, there we go. Not as easy as it used to be. The garbage mat and it was.
What do you do?
It was a lot better.
Why? So you can pretend like you care? Okay. You have that sort of sick desperation in your laugh. We have the same backpack.
Okay, again, it was on the one on top, and it was called opacity, and then I used a rectangle, and you can see you can move around the rectangle. So it'll blend from one to the other.
And you can feather it, Jeff.
And there's a feather here.
If it's not like to blend it in, you know, at the edge.
Yeah, make the edges different. There you go.
Different color, you know.
And then, of course, they have blending modes now, which they didn't have in earlier versions. So if you remember blending modes from Photoshop, they never had blending modes in Premiere until probably the last version. And so a blending mode is a great way to apply effects. So let's say that we want to have Cody swimming over a nuclear bomb. Okay, we want Cody swimming over a nuclear bomb. So inside the Day After Tomorrow, really, anybody watch the documentaries I posted? Should watch this one. It's about Oppenheimer and the man who invented the nuclear bomb. And so we have some footage of atomic bombs going off. So
one morning in November of 1952, the Pacific island of Aleutian was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast. All that remained was a mile-wide crater on the ocean floor.
So we could take this footage of, oh, let's get the sound going. We can't go without the sound. So we take this footage of that, and then of course, if you looked at the Cody footage, there's a little bit further down. Oh, a little bit further down. There's Cody swimming. There's he swimming. There he is. So Cody gets caught up in the nuclear blast. So if I take Cody and I put him over top of our nuclear blast here in the timeline here. One way to blend them to those two video footage together is to use the blending mode. The blending mode is in the same location of where the opacity was in the last example. And that is here. If I click on it and if I go over here to where the effects control is, under opacity, you'll see there's one called blending mode. Again, I'm on the one on top, on the video footage on top. I could then go and apply a blending mode like screen. The video footage underneath is kind of small. We're going to have to scale that. Let me scale that real quick. I'm going to scale the video footage that's underneath there. It's kind of, oh, not position. Let me scale that. There we go. We got to scale it. There we go. So again, on the clip on top, under opacity, there is these blending modes. There's a whole bunch of them. You got darken, you got multiply, you have color burn. These are the same ones you have in Photoshop. These are the same ones you have in Photoshop. And they all have different effects for you to blend. Ooh, look at that one. And so we can see Cody.
One morning in November of 1952, the Pacific island of Aleutian was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of those. So you might want to try some of those. There's a lot of really good effects you can do.
The Pacific island of Aleutian was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast.
So that's one way that you can get video to go together. Of course, you don't need to use a blending mode. You can go to normal, and of course, you can turn the opacity down. That's another way to composite two videos together. And of course, since he's shot on a blue background, and of course, Hollywood uses what? Green screen all the time. And I have blue hair, not green. And the reason why they use blue and green is because it's a kind of an opposite for people's skin tones to make it easier for you to composite. When we do these coloring, it's called keying, right? You ever see the weather person up there, right? That map is not behind the weather person. They're there, and they're superimposed. The term for that is called keying. So if we wanted to, instead of using a blending mode, we want to take the blue out behind Cody, we would use a key, okay? And the one that, there is a blue screen keying that's in there, and it's underneath the effects, and it's under video effects, and it's under keying, and in there you got alpha keying, color key, difference matte, image matte, luma key. Luma key is great if you got, luma means white or black and white and gray. So if you shot somebody on a white background, luma key would be it, or you shot somebody on black, luma key would be the one. Non-red key, remove matte, track matte key, ultra key. Okay, so the two that I would use for this is I would use the color key or the ultra key for this. I believe it can work. So if I was going to take the blue behind Cody here, I would use the color key and drag it on top of Cody. You'll notice that you get an option inside the effects control called color key. And there's an eyedropper right here. The eyedropper that it comes up with is used to go up and suck the color you want to make transparent. So again, it's called color key. I put it on top of Cody, come over here, grab my eyedropper, and go over to the screen, and I suck up the color blue behind him. Then in order to see the blue transparent, I increase the tolerance by, and you can see once I start increasing the tolerance, you can see the effect behind him. Do you see the blue coming out? And you can take the blue out. Now, of course, you don't want to do too much. When you're using the eyedropper, try and use a medium color, like not a light one, not a super dark one, but one that's like in the middle, because the tolerance is going above and below the color that you've chosen. And then feather will give you nice soft edges. And now if we watch Cody, he's actually swimming away from the nuclear bomb without...
One morning in November of 1952, the Pacific island of Aleutialab was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast.
Then all the little artifacts like along the edge is what I would use garbage mat for, but of course I don't have garbage mat anymore. I guess I'll have to use the opacity mat for that now.
Can you crop it?
Well, I guess we could... I don't know. I guess I have to use this now. I don't know. I used to use garbage mat to get rid of the extra junk around the edge. But now it looks like I have to use that.
November of 19...
Uh-oh, I guess I got rid of Cody doing that. Okay, don't use that. I don't know how to get rid of the edge now. I'm sure there's probably a way.
Can you crop it, maybe?
There's another one also, not besides the color. So the color key is great because you can take any color. So the best way if you want to do something like this is to shoot a person on a plain background that can contrast with their color. The other one could be Ultra Key, I think works as well. And that has a color as well. See the Ultra Key? It has a color as well. And that works even better. As you can see, look, I didn't even have to do any tolerance. I just clicked on it and boom, it was gone. Maybe that's why it's called Ultra. So that was called, I tried the Ultra Key.
One morning in November...
Oh, but you can see some of the shadow behind him.
One morning in November of 19...
So I guess, let's see. I did Ultra Key. It looks like there's some settings here.
One morning in November of 1952, the Pacific island of Aleutialab was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast.
He's getting tired. Tired watching Cody swim. So these are all great effects that you can do. One of the things that, I was thinking that we could do with the Bofano is, take video footage of his sculptures and superimpose some of him probably talking maybe, right? I mean, I sent you a document that has video footage of him talking.
Yeah, I'm going to show them.
Okay, you're going to show him that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then I'm pretty much done. This is all I wanted to demo. So think about, again, one of the most beautiful things that we have now inside of Premiere is the ability to do the blending mode. And blending mode was not, they only introduced this recently to, it was always in Photoshop. And the other thing is in, oh, look at that one.
One morning in November of 1952, the Pacific island of Aleutialab was vaporized by the first hydrogen blast.
See, that looks like an 80s music video now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cody, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm a little behind here.
Uh-huh.
We'll start on how you put the image in. How you
Which image?
how you put those two. How you put it like forward and behind. How you put how you blended those two together.
So this was a little harder. I'm missing my garbage mat. If you wanted to, here, let's do one more. Let me finish because I can't never stop. You know me. Okay. So let me get rid of this one. You saw that. Let me line this up. Why will it let me put this back to the front? There we go. So we just saw the blue screen effect that we did with one video, right? But the problem that we have here is there's actually two videos. I would have to do the color thing twice. It's too much work. So one way that you can go about, if you want, you can put a sequence inside another sequence and then apply an effect to that. So right now, this is a sequence, right? This is a sequence is the stuff you put in the timeline. But what I can do is I can make a new sequence by going under File, New Sequence, and I don't know, choose the settings that you want. This is the wrong setting here. I would probably use VCHD. Oh, I don't even know. No, I think this is that. This is old video. I'm gonna leave default, whatever this is. And I make a new sequence that has nothing in it, but what I can do is take the original sequence, the first one, right? The first one right here. See how it's called Cody? I can take that from the project window and drag it in there, and it's actually a reference. I'm going to change the settings to the same as the one I'm bringing. Yes, change settings. And so you'll notice now I actually have one footage in the sequence that's actually a combination of what is in here. So let's think about it. If you're making a long movie that's like 30 minutes, if you're making anything that's long, you can make it in smaller pieces and put it together into a longer sequence.
I just made a 16-minute movie and I got 16 different movies I put into one thing. It just makes it easier that way.
Okay, so you can modulate your editing by making several sequences and putting. So now I can actually do the blue screen on one footage here, right? So I could go and let me move it up. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move it up. And then I can grab my clouds. I think I had some clouds there. Let's put some clouds in there. So there's clouds behind this Cody here. This Cody here. And so I can then do my, what do you want to try? Alter matte, or you like the color matte? I like the color matte better. And then I can grab my blue here. And then I can bring up my tolerance. There he is. Uh-oh, my clouds are a little bit,
It's a different size.
not quite big enough. There we go. And then another thing you could do is you can do because right now you can see the shadow right here of them because it's darker blue than the one that's around him. What I've done before is I've actually then made another sequence, and then take that sequence that I just made and put it in there. Keep setting, change settings, yes. And then I would then, let me put the cloud in there again, maybe. No, Cody, clouds. Oh no, they're the wrong size, whatever. And I can take, this is gonna be messed up because the clouds are already there. Wait, I gotta get rid of the clouds in here. Get rid of the clouds there. And then let me put the clouds in here. And let me make the clouds bigger. And now to do the keying, I'm going to do the keying again. This time I'm going to get the darker blue out by using the color difference again. And then sucking up this darker blue and then getting rid of that. So you can actually do this blue screen sucking out the color behind them more than one time by making a sequence and then making another sequence and doing it again and making another one. And that way you get it kind of better. So you can do that several times to get it just right. So now this looks pretty good.
So
you
can do it more than once. Yes?
When you create the sequence, do you lose any part of the resolution in the image or video?
No. It keeps it the same. The original is always the original in the program. It never removes the original. When you're working, sometimes the resolution looks, because it reduces it for rendering purposes. But when you export it out, it will use the original footage. So there's a lot of different effects you can do with this keying. I think the most important thing is to think of the concepts and how you might put things together. But you can see if I use more than one sequence and do it over and over again, I can really get it to be a nice blue screen. It's really hard to shoot on blue. Harvey used to try and shoot on white and use the, like I said, the Lumina key, but that never worked. Harvey likes to do a lot of spiritual kind of things and like ghosts and things, and he would shoot people on white and have like things like that. So I want you, because I'm going to be done. I want you to think about, read information I posted for Bonfano. And think about maybe making a video. I see effects. I see pictures of the sculptures. Have you seen the sculptures? Online? So think about that. I mean, I think the important thing is it's doing something at a museum. You know, it's something that you can put on your resume. Hey, look, I did a presentation.
That's right.
That has we projected things on all kinds of places in San Francisco and stuff. It's good for you to meet people and do things like that. And I know 2 weeks ago I posted either doing a split screen video or a demonstration video. Did you see that? Okay, if you didn't do it by tonight, it's okay. I mean, that's something that I thought you would shoot over spring break anyways, and then maybe we can put it together in the next week or two, right? Okay, so think it's split screen. Some of you didn't do the speed one either. Some of you did now. The fun ones. Would you mind if I linked all your YouTube channels up into one and that we can see each other's work? Would you mind doing that for me? Sending me your channel link? Because I think that would be fun. So everybody can see them.
They're okay then.
Huh?
Are you all right with that?
What's that?
Are they okay with it?
Well, if you don't want to send me your link, then don't. That's okay. I'll send you an email tomorrow or something, and it says, hey, send me your YouTube channel link, and I'll put them all in one so that we can see each other's. Uh-huh. Which one?
The white balance. I tried to shoot a video for the demonstration video, and I
How do you put the cloud? Okay. You don't put that below there. Yeah, it'll be behind it. And then you go to
I would try and set it to the default middle. So, are you able to adjust your camera?
key, color key, put it in there, and you get this one. Right, this one you choose the color, and you
Show me your camera. Every camera is different. I would look in your direction of white balance. And you can manually white balance.
it's like you're keying it out, taking the color
A
out.
lot of them
See?
like, you know,
called
cloudy
key.
day, sunny day.
Yeah.
You don't have anything.
You're taking it out. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You get it? That's what he was doing. What he was saying is that
Did you try some of the color correcting?
if you wanted to make a new sequence, another new sequence, you can bring in that sequence, sequence one. And, Next. Okay, sequence, sequence.
Bring me your camera. I'll see if I can figure it out.
Make a new sequence.
Next week. Oh, okay. I love that.
And then bring sequence
I like
one
your
in.
speed videos too. It shows, I think, if you read my
Again,
comments,
you
it
go to
shows
color key. And take
there's a
out
lot
the
to
second
more
one.
than just what you see. Slowing it down, you get to see.
I found that after it was delivered.
It was?
Yeah.
So,
She had her
how long
Harry
is
Dose from the company channel.
how do I manually match this?
What do you mean?
Yeah, because
To make those approach.
And then what you would do is you put that. I made a mistake
It
there.
gives it, you know, but it wasn't wiggling, right?
Yeah, it was.
You're gonna have to have that.
And you work for that car company? Is that why I see all these classic cars in your pictures?
Yeah.
The cloud
Should
at
be
full
so
scale.
classic
That
cars.
You sell classic cars?
needs to be at full scale. Actually, no, you wouldn't. You would take that out. You would take the clouds out, and you would bring that into another sequence. See, sequence one, and then you put the clouds.
Kind of a boring sales video, so I can make it.
Clouds in there. Clouds in there. And then you key up, you bring that to scale.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Ben will be in charge the rest of the night. So again, remember I have guest speaker next week, and we'll do some more demoing. Think about split screen or a demonstration video, and we'll move forward.
Okay, Jeff, just a question. I'll help you with that. The performance you have
It's in the what I sent them, and yes.
I thought it's because I'm not using it.
I don't know. Where is that?
It's on the server, on the website. I'll just download it. Don't worry.
It's on. Yeah, it's on Canvas.
Okay.
I believe I have it on
Okay,
Canvas.
all right. I'll just get it from there. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Ciao.
You go to video effects, motion, you go to motion, then you go to scale, and then you increase the scale to cover the whole screen. Scale up. Yeah, there you go. Make it bigger, 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 bigger. I don't know.
Usually if this is a demonstration video, the dip to black is what I would put on in the first like this. So the transition to the black, so it's face to black and then the black face into the next scene. We'll do it kind of short. Yeah, so, and then color correct each one separately.
Oh, bye, Jeff. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do next is we're going to use some of the same videos that Jeff has put on the server, and we're going to do different effects to the faces. So first of all, we're going to try and do. I'm going to do a demo where I blur the face as it moves through the frame. It's similar to what Jeff just went over, but we're actually focusing on the face, and then we're going to do color correcting and a moving person. So how could you color correct a person's body as they're moving through a shot? And then they're all similar, and then hopefully we'll get to changing the face color of a moving person. So how would you create a mask that you can then animate the color in it? So for example, maybe a guy. This is a bad example, but maybe a guy is feeling sick, like he's going to throw up, and his face will turn green over in a few seconds, or maybe he just ate a chili and his face is getting hot from the chili. So I'm going to go at a step at a time. Hopefully, it won't be, we'll get through progressively. So, all right. So we can start a new project. I'm not going to save this. I'm going to call it face blur. Okay. I want you to import those files. So file import. We can use the same ones. I really want to use the day after Trinity. I guess let's just import them all. You already got them in there. Okay, so we're going to go to this one, the day after Trinity. There's a bunch of different
I would say, well, no.
clips in there of different people. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the effects panel.
Hold on,
Right.
stop my video.
Hmm?